Hello. So I am back here with another gambit, another traps, another lines, whatever you say. So today we will take a look into Stafford Gambit. Stafford Gambit. So let's start. So Stafford Gambit starts. Stafford Gambit. Yes, Stafford Gambit starts with e4, e5, knight to f3, knight to f6, inviting white to capture our e5 pawn, and white goes for it. This is called this Stafford Gambit. Then we attack that knight with knight to c6, white takes the knight at c6, and d takes c6. So this is the Stafford Gambit. Now let's take a look at the traps in Stafford Gambit. So let's start. Start with e4, e5, knight to f3, knight to f6, knight takes e5, knight to c6, knight takes c6, d takes c6, and d3. Suppose there are many variations. If white plays d3, we will go bishop to c5. If bishop white goes bishop to g5, then this is a blunder. So here we will sacrifice our queen by taking knight takes e4, and white, if white takes our queen, bishop takes d8, then bishop takes f2, check, only move king to e2, and bishop to g4 is a checkmate. Really cool line. Now let's take a look at another trap. Actually, if you like my videos, please subscribe the channel. Please do it. I need it. I have just started it, so please give me a support. Now, okay, let's take a look at another trap. Starts with e4. Yes, I know, you know. Again, take a look. e5, knight to f3, knight to f6, knight takes e5, knight to c6, and knight takes c6, d takes c6, bishop, sorry, e5, the another line. If white plays e5, knight goes to e4. If d3, further kicking away the knight, then we play bishop to c5. If white takes our knight with the pawn, then we strike at bishop takes f2, check. And if king takes, we will win a queen. That sexy lady on the floor is ours. Let's take a look at another line in this. Not d3. If white plays d4, then we will go queen to h4, trying to checkmate the king at f2 square. So if white prevents it with pawn g3, then we can take that pawn with g3. If white takes with the h pawn, then we can win a rook. So if white takes with f takes g3, then queen to e4 check, and we will win a rook. Now let's take a look at another line at this position. What if white plays bishop to e3? Then we will take that bloody bishop at e3, pawn takes e3, queen to h4 check, g3, bishop takes g3, h takes g3, and we will win a rook. Let's take a look at another line that starts with e4, e5, knight to f3, knight to f6, knight takes, knight to c6, d takes, knight to c3. The another line. We will go bishop to c5, d3, knight to g4, bishop to e3. Here we will take with the knight, and we will take the pawn and avoiding the castling rights for the king. Let's take a look at another trap. Starts with e4, e5, knight to f3. La, 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 la. Yes, we reach. Knight to c3, bishop to c5, bishop to c4. This is a very cool line. At this position, we will go knight to g4, hitting that f2 pawn. So, if black castles here, then this is a blunder. We will go queen to h4, threatening to checkmate. So, only thing white can do is push h3. Here we will take f2 pawn, and here the best, no, the white doesn't have any good move here. The only thing, mostly white plays queen to f3, so we will take knight to h3, double check. So king has to move the only square, not the only square, but mostly white will go h1. Even if white goes to h2, doesn't matter. Knight to f2, check, double check again, and this is a checkmate. Now let's take a look at another trap. Blah blah blah, boom boom boom. Knight to c3, bishop to c5, bishop to e2. We will push here h5, sorry, h5, and suppose white plays h3, then we will go queen to d4, threatening to checkmate at f2. So white castles, we will go knight to g4, bringing another attacker at that pawn. So h takes g4, h takes g4, and g3, avoiding any possible pawn push. We will go queen to e5, king g2, avoiding that pawn capture. So if then here we will strike with knight takes f2, king takes f2, and rook h2 check, king to e3, queen g3 check, king d4, bishop to e6, and next move we will castles. Really cool line. Let's take a look at another trap. Starts with e4, e5, knight to f3, blah 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 blue, and d3. Here we will go at, what is that? Bishop to a c5, yes. And if white plays anything h3 or something, we will go bishop takes f2, king takes f2, knight takes e4 check. Remember, white cannot take that knight, otherwise he will lose a queen. So king e3 and castles, sacrificing another piece. King takes e4, and we can easily win from here. The engine gives here 0-0 to both the players. Let's take a look at another trap. e4, e5, knight to f3, knight to f6, blah blah, boom bam boom. Okay, here bishop to c5, bishop to e2, h5, castles, knight to g4, h3, queen d6, h takes g4, h takes g4, and this mate is unstoppable. So that's it for the Stafford Gambit. Feel free. That's it for the Stafford Gambit. Feel free to feel free to subscribe